Hey there, Katie Kimball here for the Healthy Parenting Connector at Kids Cook Real Food. And a question that I get asked a lot by parents is how do I get my kids to eat more veggies? Right? How do I get them to make friends with their veggies or maybe even fall in love with their vegetables? So today we're going to talk about 5 simple strategies you can implement in your home to help your kids have a better relationship with their vegetables. And those 5 are demonstration, variety, choice, fun, and involvement. Let's dig into those. First, we know that kids are going to be more open to eating any new food if the environment is positive. And we also know, whether we like this or not, that we're always modeling, that they're always watching, some more than others. I've got one who's super observant and sees everything. And so we need to be a good example of approaching foods with curiosity and not fear and saying, "Oh, I'll try that." Or I don't usually like this, but maybe I'll give it another try. Or I bought something new at the grocery store and we can all try it. So being the example, really important. I know I said these were simple, and it's simple. It's not always easy, especially at the end of the day, to always be really positive. But nonetheless, that's got to be the goal. It's got to be the goal that we are setting a good example and a good model. Now, number 2 is more variety, okay? Serving lots of different kinds of vegetables, both over the course of a week and even in one meal. And why does this work? Well, I learned in the SOS approach to feeding that when we're talking about like severe, extreme picky eaters, the kids who may eat fewer than 20 foods in the entire world, that with those kids, if you can increase their variety, it will increase the amount of food they take in. And if we think about that, it totally makes sense. Picture a buffet and an adult at a buffet. We tend to overeat at a buffet, not because we're too hungry or because the food is necessarily amazing, but it's just we have so many choices that we generally take more. And if we picture kids, eating, maybe if we serve a bowl of carrots and hummus, right? Kids or adults, what might we eat? Even if we like carrots, we might have 2 or 3. We might have up to 5, but generally we're not going to keep going. Whereas on the other hand, if we've got a big veggie platter with cauliflower and broccoli and carrots and red peppers and pea pods and cherry tomatoes and cucumbers, well, even if a person takes one of each, now they have 7 different items on their plate, which is probably more than 7 sticks of carrot that they would eat. Does that make sense? So the more variety that your kids see, the more options they have, likely, the more they're actually going to take in. And also then that balances preferences too, right? If I'm the kid who doesn't really like carrots and carrots are the only option, I'm not eating any vegetables at that meal or snack, right? So that gives more opportunities to eat a bigger quantity of vegetables. It gives more opportunities to try something. And also, when we think about variety, we want to think about variety in preparation. We know that even in ourselves, like even as adults, certain ways of preparing a vegetable or a meat I'm going to enjoy more than others, right? If you boil some broccoli or some asparagus or some green beans, I'm not a very happy camper. Now, if you lightly steam some of those same things, or if you saute them in bacon grease, or if you roast them with a little garlic and olive oil, I'm going to eat a pretty big serving and I might even go back for seconds. Does that make sense? So people have very different preferences. And so if your kids are having trouble approaching a certain vegetable, remember that that vegetable is completely different to kids, provided we can convince them that it is. But really, kids think about vegetables in how they look and how they taste. It's not necessarily, I mean, at a certain point, they may say broccoli's always bad. But for little kids especially, don't use those words. This is roasted broccoli. That's totally different than steamed broccoli. So think about roasting, raw, sauteed. Like I said, bacon grease is amazing. With sauce on top, with a marinara sauce or a cheese sauce, steamed, air fried, in a soup, in a salad, mixed up, unmixed. Like these are all different experiences for kids. And so take one vegetable, multiply it by those 10 different experiences, and now maybe have 10 vegetables, 10 different experiences. That's like 100 ways you could serve a vegetable in a week. Not that maybe you would serve 100 different ways in a week, but the point is, the more variety, the more opportunities a child has to encounter a vegetable that really fits their palate and that they really enjoy. So for example, and again, variety allows different choices. So for example, last night we had simple frozen vegetables. It was like a mixed, a stir fry mix from Costco. And there's probably 6 or 8 different vegetables in this stir fry mix. We dump it in a pan, add some oil, saute it, done. And what I say to my kids is, hey, grab some vegetables. You don't have to eat everything, but I would like you to have at least two different kinds. Now, again, there's 6 to 8 choices. So they might all have a little something different. They might not eat what goes on their plate, and that's okay. But I require that they serve themselves at least 2 different kinds of vegetables. Okay, cool. Because we had many, I was able to give them that choice. And anytime you give a kid choice, it gives them a little skin in the game, and it helps them feel a little more in control, so they're less likely to push against you to try to take control. And actually, that's number 3. Okay, so we've moved from demonstrating with a positive example to giving lots of variety, both in types of vegetables and types of preparation. And now we got to talk about the power of choice, right? We just wrapped up last week the No More Picky Eating Challenge. And some of the comments from parents coming in are like, my kid clearly likes to make choices. Wow, I couldn't believe how proud my 5-year-old looked that he was serving himself, right? Getting a little bit of control. When you have choices, you feel more invested in the process. Okay, you feel a little more invested in the process. So, a great way to serve maybe a meal, could be a snack too, is sort of the bar idea, like a salad bar, but think about a pizza bar, building your own pizza, a pasta salad bar with lots of choices for your pasta, a baked potato bar can be a main course. And even just having, those multiple options at dinner, like I talked about with the mixed vegetable stir fry, or maybe you have to have 2 different vegetables. One tip that I got from our last No More Picky Eating Challenge was someone said, listen, I can never keep up on serving like 3 and 4 choices at dinner every night. So what I do is rotate. I'll make the main course, one night, and then use like a leftover vegetable from the night before. And then the next day, and then it's maybe another vegetable. Then the next day I have that vegetable, in a new main course. The next day we've got leftover main course, and I can make 3 veggie sides. And I don't know if that all made sense, but the point is, make big and reuse like a couple days later, and then you don't feel like you have to make 3 or 4 or 5 choices, every night, or just, do like the mixed veggies. But when kids have choice, they feel more in control. When they feel more in control, they don't have to take control from you, and they're going to be less anxious and more able to approach those veggies with curiosity and not fear. Now, we can also give them choices that are fun. And that's number 4, is to have fun. Now, I know I'm actually not a creative mom at all. I'm not a crafty mom. I see those like pictures of skeletons made out of celery ribs and cherry tomatoes for the eyes at Halloween, and I'm like, I just don't have the energy. But if you have the energy, I mean, that's really cute, and it does help kids. Kids definitely assess and evaluate and judge with their eyes first what they see. So the cuter you can serve it, the better. Sometimes this is a great chance to delegate to your upper L or middle school kids. I know my daughter, she is a very aesthetic girl. She loves making things look good. So even if we just have peppers, she's going to be the one who makes an every other pattern with the red and green peppers at Christmas time especially, and makes it look pretty. And when things look good, kids are just like ready to eat them too. Now, you could also serve those veggies and say, hey, let's try to make a face out of our vegetables on our plates before we have dinner, right? And let the kids infuse their own creativity into it. I know a lot of you have heard my tip of a blended soup, and serving a blended soup with a straw cut in half so it doesn't flip out all the time. That's easy. That doesn't take a lot of creativity, and it's still fun. We also do make some faces sometimes when I have the energy on those blended soups. And again, that just makes it fun. It helps make things a lot more approachable. And even something, moms and dads, as simple as serving dips and condiments, particularly if you can have, maybe little bowls and 2 or 3 dips or condiments, that makes it fun. Toddlers and preschoolers particularly, maybe you can invite them to draw on their empty plate before the main course is served with some veggie sticks, or some fruit and some dips and some condiments, and just have fun with it. So it's really important, especially, our kids learn through play. They're going to learn how to grow up and be adults by playing, by pretending to have a restaurant, by pretending to carry a baby and be a mom, by pretending to hammer some nails, all different things. So we know kids learn through play. Why not apply that to the table, right? The kids can absolutely learn about their food and learn to enjoy their food through play. So don't be afraid to make it fun. If you don't like that idea at the table, if that's kind of freaking you out because it doesn't seem to be, high culture, then do it at a snack. Have some playing with food time at a snack. Now, finally, what I think is the most powerful, although all of these are important, setting the environment for your kids to decrease their anxiety at the table is so important, right? We want to be a good, positive example. We want to give them lots of variety so that they are able to choose many things. We want to give them many choices. Kids don't get maybe enough choices these days. We want to give them some fun, but I believe the most powerful method to help kids have a great relationship with any food, especially vegetables, is to get them involved. Okay. And when they're having fun and making salad faces, they are involved. If you can get them involved in the kitchen, that's a really safe space where there's no pressure to eat. Um, and obviously that's a really good thing when there's no pressure to eat. So if we can teach our kids to measure a teaspoon of salt and put that in with our soup, then they feel invested. They feel some ownership in that soup, and they're more likely to approach it at the table and to make friends with that soup. If we can teach our kids to cut some vegetables, or to do some mixing, adding some seasonings to sour cream and mixing it up to make a homemade ranch. Anything we can do to get the kids involved in the kitchen at whatever age and developmental stage they're at is most absolutely going to infuse some ownership into the deal, and help them approach those vegetables and really be able to make friends with them. Um, so hopefully, some people say they can hear me, some say they can't. We will see. We will see. We'll have to see what this video ends up being like. I may have to redo the whole thing. Hopefully not. Um, but that's what I've got. I've got 4 kids, and they all like a fairly wide variety of vegetables, some more than others, and that's okay. That's their personalities. I know that there are a lot of vegetables, especially that both my husband and I didn't like when we were little. So the last tip I have for you is to keep that growth mindset. Always remember that there's hope and there is change to come, and that even in our 30s and 40s, we can learn to like new foods. So there's no reason to lose hope. There's no reason to give up when it seems like our kids are struggling to accept vegetables. We just keep trying and using all these strategies, as many as poor parents handle. And eventually, I do believe that every kid can be a great eater and learn to love their vegetables. So I am Katie Kimball from Kids Cook Real Food. This has been a solo episode of our Healthy Parenting Connector show, and we'll be back next week with a fabulous interview guest, and hopefully our sound will work really well then, and hopefully this recorded well. We'll find out in about a half an hour when it processes. All right, thanks everyone. Always good to be here, and I will see you next time.